Hello and welcome to the EduTube Plus 24 podcast. I'm your host, SodaPitch, and I am so excited to have you here with me today. In this episode, we're going to talk about a very important topic. Learning English is a journey, not a destination. Learning English is like an adventure. It's not something you finish, it's something you experience every day. Whether you are just starting to learn English or have been studying for years, this episode is for you. So if you're ready, let's dive in. But first, let's think about what we mean when we say that learning English is a journey, not a destination. Well, when you go on a journey, you have many experiences along the way. You see new places, meet new people, and learn new things. It's the same with learning English. You are constantly experiencing new things, growing and improving. There isn't a finish line where you suddenly stop learning. Let me explain. 1. Continuous improvement. Learning a language is all about continuous improvement. Even native speakers learn new words and expressions all the time. For example, when I first started learning French, I only knew basic words like bonjour and merci beaucoup. But every day I learn something new. Maybe it's a new word I read in a book or a new expression I hear in a movie. Every day is a chance to get better. Let's dive deeper into this idea of continuous improvement. Think about athletes. Even the best athletes in the world continue to train and improve their skills. They don't stop practicing just because they are good. They always strive to be better. Learning English is similar. You might be good at English, but there's always room for improvement. For instance, you might be comfortable with everyday conversations, but what about academic English or business English? These are areas where you can continue to grow. By reading different types of texts, such as scientific articles or business reports, you can expand your vocabulary and understanding. Another example is watching movies or TV shows in English. You might start with simple shows, but as your English improves, you can challenge yourself with more complex series or movies. This way, you are constantly pushing your limits and improving your skills. 2. Practice makes progress. Just like any skill, the more you practice, the better you get. Think about learning to ride a bike. The first time, you might fall, but with practice, you get better and more confident. The same goes for English. When you practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing every day, you see progress. For example, try talking to friends in English or listening to English music. You will notice that over time it becomes easier and more natural. Let's consider some specific ways to practice. One effective method is to join an English conversation club. These clubs provide a great environment to practice speaking and listening. You can meet other learners and native speakers, share experiences, and learn from each other. Another excellent practice method is writing a journal in English. Start by writing a few sentences every day about your thoughts, feelings, or what you did that day. Over time, try to write more and more. This will help improve your writing skills and also help you think in English. Listening to English podcasts like this one is another great way to practice. You can listen while you are doing other activities, like walking or cooking. This way, you are constantly surrounded by English and can improve your listening skills. 3. Embracing mistakes. Mistakes are part of the learning journey. Many of my students made lots of mistakes when they first started learning English. I remember one time they said "I am boring" instead of "I am bored." It was funny, but they learned from it. Remember, mistakes help you understand what you need to improve. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. They are your best teachers. Let's talk more about mistakes and how they help you learn. When you make a mistake, it shows you where you need to focus your efforts. It's like a signpost on your journey, pointing you in the right direction. For example, if you keep making the same grammar mistake, that's a sign you need to review that grammar rule. Maybe you need to do some exercises or ask a teacher for help. Once you understand the mistake, you can correct it and move forward. Another example is pronunciation. Many learners struggle with pronunciation because it's different from their native language. Don't be afraid to practice out loud, even if it sounds strange at first. Record yourself speaking and listen to the recording. Compare it to native speakers and see where you can improve. Remember, every mistake is a step closer to mastering the language. 4. Setting realistic goals. Setting small, realistic goals can make learning English more enjoyable. Instead of saying, "I want to be fluent," you can say, "I want to learn 10 new words this week." Achieving small goals gives you the motivation to keep going. For example, you can set a goal to read 1 English article a day. This way, you can see your progress and feel good about it. Let's look at some examples of realistic goals. One goal might be to improve your listening skills. You could set a goal to watch 1 English video on YouTube every day. Choose videos that interest you, whether it's cooking, travel, or science. This makes the practice enjoyable and helps you stay motivated. Another goal might be to expand your vocabulary. You could decide to learn 5 new words every day. Write them down, use them in sentences, and try to use them in conversation. At the end of the week, review all the new words you've learned. This way, you can see your progress and feel a sense of accomplishment. You could also set goals for speaking. For example, you might decide to speak English for at least 10 minutes every day. This could be with a friend, a teacher, or even by yourself. The key is to practice regularly and track your progress. 5. Cultural understanding. Learning English is also about understanding cultures. English is spoken in many countries, each with its own culture. By learning English, you can understand and connect with people from different parts of the world. For example, when you watch English movies or read English books, you learn about different cultures and perspectives. This makes your journey richer and more interesting. Let's explore how learning about cultures can enhance your English journey. For example, if you are interested in British culture, you can watch British TV shows or read British literature. This helps you understand the context in which certain words or expressions are used. It also makes the language more meaningful and memorable. Another example is American culture. By watching American movies or reading American novels, you can learn about the slang and idioms used in everyday conversation. This not only improves your language skills, but also helps you understand and appreciate different ways of life. Learning about cultures also helps you connect with people. For instance, if you know something about Australian culture, you can have more meaningful conversations with Australians. You can share experiences, ask questions, and learn from each other. This makes your journey more enjoyable and rewarding. 6. Lifelong learning. Remember, learning English doesn't have an end date. It's a lifelong journey. Even if you reach a high level of proficiency, there is always something new to learn. New words, new slang, new ways of expressing ideas. Think of it as a never-ending adventure. For example, new technology terms and slangs are always emerging, so there's always something new to add to your vocabulary. Let's discuss how to embrace lifelong learning. One way is to stay curious. Always be on the lookout for new words and phrases. For example, if you come across a word you don't know, look it up. Write it down and try to use it in a sentence. This keeps your vocabulary growing. Another way is to engage with different types of content. Don't just stick to one type of material. Read books, watch movies, listen to podcasts, and talk to people. This variety keeps your learning fresh and interesting. For example, if you usually read novels, try reading a science article or a business report. This exposes you to different types of language and helps you learn new vocabulary. Finally, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. If you feel comfortable with your current level, try something more difficult. Maybe it's a more complex book or a podcast on a difficult topic. Pushing your limits helps you grow and keeps your learning journey exciting. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the EduTube Plus 24 podcast. I hope you found it helpful and motivating. Remember, learning English is a journey, not a destination. Every step you take brings you closer to becoming more fluent and confident. As you go through your English learning journey, remember to enjoy the process. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Don't be discouraged by mistakes. Instead, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Before we wrap up, here's a quick recap of what we talked about today. Learning English is about continuous improvement, practicing regularly, embracing mistakes, setting realistic goals, understanding different cultures, and committing to lifelong learning. Each of these points helps you see English learning as a journey, full of experiences and opportunities for growth. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday at 7 p.m. for our next episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Keep practicing, keep learning, and enjoy the journey. Until next time, this is Soda Peach signing off. Have a great week, everyone.